So it's that video everyone's doing at the moment, so you know I'm going to jump on the old bandwagon, aren't I? Get mine out there and done and out of the way. It's that transitional kind of early autumn fragrance lists, you know. It is to be fair, in Britain we don't have seasons anymore. They're all kind of rainy and dreary all year round. It's just sometimes it's very hot, sometimes it's very cold with the rain and the drear. Sometimes the weather just can't make its mind up. Like today I am dripping with sweat. The wind is quite bracing and annoying, and it'll probably start raining any second. That's summer as well as autumn. Just it's a bit lighter, a bit longer. Anyway, that's what the video is about. Don't need to go on and on. So first up, we'll start with they're all in a random order and what have you. Obviously the random fragrances. Try to mention ones that, you know, aren't always mentioned. And the first one is Poupée d'Automne. Clues in the name, from Maisonville, Purple Autumn. And it's a purple autumn. It's like this, imagine this ground, everything's kind of that colour, with like pastel pale purples, mauves, and all of that. It's starting to get cold. You know how the sky stops having colour, doesn't it? And it has that look. So it's kind of that kind of thing. Yeah, and all the kind of the colours from the trees are being drained away, and that kind of fragrance is kind of a cold, cool orichy iris. I think there's mimosa giving it a bit of a yellow tinge in there, and there's obviously the violet it's not so much a sweet violet, it's a powdery kind of melancholic. This is the end of the colour, this is the end of the year, this is the end of seasons, everything's kind of fading away and dying, and it's a beautiful one. And to be fair, I quite like them cool short autumn nights where everything's starting to come in and even the colours are starting to fade, all them beautiful oranges and purples and browns, everything's starting to turn just into a big plod of grey and brown, isn't it? And that's what this fragrance is. It's still very beautiful. It's like the makeup of if we're going to call it a makeup-y fragrance because of what it is, of one of them, I can't remember what they're called, them French people that have the sad faces. That's kind of the makeup they'd wear, but they've still got a bit of colour left in them, and maybe they've just had a kiss, so there's a little flush of colour in their cheeks, giving them a last little bit of happiness. I don't know what they're called, sad crowns, I don't know, but yeah, that's what it makes me think of on these kind of long autumn days. So anyway, I've waffled on a lot about this. This is Poupée d'Automne from Maisonville. Next, trying to keep it brief because so many long videos, is a Dior Oud Parfum. This is my favourite flank. I do love the original, that could be there as well, but this one is perfect for autumn because it's more of a bigger, warmer, cosier one. This is, you've had to put your leather jacket on whilst you're wearing Dior Oud, and you've got a little bit of a rose in there, a little bit more musky maybe because you're sweating a bit more. I think the ambrette is kind of amped up a bit in this, and the leather's very smooth, very clean. You're very classy. The kind of iris is there, but more smoother and floral, not so much that kind of waxy, lipsticky, whatever nonsense. And it's just a very elegant, classy fragrance. There aren't any like this. People describe this one as a masterpiece. Yes, it probably shouldn't have been in there. It should have been a privé, this. It's magnificently done. There isn't really anything like it. Obviously a lot of things kind of copy that DNA, but not to this level of being this good. And the kind of, it sometimes has even a little bit of a boozy kind of feel in it. It's just magnificent. If you like Dior Oud, but you want more oomph and what have you to it, this is here. Now the reformulated version I have tried, slightly different, but compared to what they've done with the other two, it's the better of the reformulated ones, I'd say. Not quite the same, a little easier, a little less full, a little more of a tame fragrance. Not in the, I'm not talking about projection and stuff like that. I mean, the original Dior Oud is big, isn't it? It's a presence, and the newer one. Anyway, it's not what we're talking about. This one is your kind of leather jacket on a brisk autumn evening, smelling all sensual and what have you. Next is from Dior, Ombre Nuit. I've gone for this time. Now again, this is like the sort of roses drooping over, starting to fade. They're putting out their last sweetness in the still warm autumn air, that very beginning of autumn, and they're kind of just filling it with a soft powderiness, a soft sensual kind of long kiss goodbye, isn't it? And there's obviously musks running through this one. It's kind of a little bit of an ambery richness in the base. There's this woods and blah blah blah, but it's ultimately this powdery, sometimes almost fizzy, musky rose. Gentle, tender, soft whispers, soft kisses, petal, almost as if the petals were falling off the trees instead of leaves as well. Kind of just peaceful and serene. That's Ombre Nuit. Next is a very classic one, sadly discontinued, like all good Mugles. Wish to discontinue them all rather than insult. Anyway, is Alien Essence Absolute. Now this is the winter version of it. This is the cozy, friendly, snuggly version. And there are some that were quite similar, isn't there? The liqueur one or whatever it was called, and another one. Well, this is the one I've got, and now this has the alien DNA in it, that kind of dark jasmine and that kind of muskiness in there, and a little bit of cashmere, but it's predominantly loads of vanilla, benzoin, myrrh, you know, that kind of sweet, cozy resinousness to it all. And it's like just a sea of dark golden, almost like the top of a creme brulee that's still viscous, still, you know, kind of liquidy before it melts. Not quite as sweet as that, but that's what it kind of makes you think of, with that little bit of the original DNA running through it. Now if you don't like the original Alien, you could still like this one. It's just a memory. Someone's put a big snuggly cardigan on the morning after they've been on a night out wearing Alien kind of thing, and they're coming for a bit of a snuggle and whatnot. And it is, because of the colour, the way it smells, it is very autumnal and very cosy and very comforting, and just really, really lovely. It's like a darker vanilla that's not boring. It's not just, you know, your straight up cake vanilla, or kind of a vanilla that kind of smells of nothing. It's an interesting one, and obviously if you like Alien, I think you're going to like this one a lot. So yeah, that's Alien Essence. Next is Bulgari's Man in Black, as people call it, the posh spice bomb. Not really. It's leather, it's spices, it's you know, the pink pepperness there, that I suppose is kind of similar. Warm spices, are kind of almost rum-like booziness running through it, like a soft rum. It's not a big kind of in your face, over the top boozy one. And the tuberose that's in there, that again is not a huge tuberose. It just adds a bit of that carnal floral touch to it, making it very appealing. It works well with the leather and the spices actually, and it's one I think anyone could pull off really. It's, you know, going on a night out, your black suit or whatever, your leather jacket, you're off to a bar, you've got crisp white shirt, you know, you're having a few posh rums there, you know, everyone's chatting to you, there's a kind of pianist playing some jaunty posh classical tunes there, and it's just very appealing, and the spices give it this kind of cozy warmth to it, and it's just a lot more elegant and kind of smoother and more sophisticated than Spice Bomb, which by the way I love the original, so I'm not slagging that off. But that's the similarity is the spice, I think. But this one is just more put together. It's more a suit than jeans and t-shirt kind of spice bomby one. So yeah, that's Bulgari's Man in Black. Next is one that I just love it. Of course, it's autumn. We're going to go for Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood, which, as we know, is this big, stupendously massive violet and little hints of rose in there, with this kind of oudy undercurrent, a bit of a leatheriness. It's more, to me, everyone sees it as more of a rose oud. To me, it's more of a purple violet oud, and with the rose still there. It's also got a very kind of soft, tender powderiness after many hours, with a muskiness in that. But it's just this very dark, rich, sophisticated, bold purple fragrance. This, again, we could look at it, I'd look at it as more of a kind of Dracula who's a bit more better dressed. He's a bit more of a modern Dracula, you know. He's not in his cape and his what have you. He's, you know, in his little tight little skinny suit like what Rishi Sunak wears, except he's got personality and charm and isn't a liar. That, you know, he's that kind of guy, kind of put together, smart, seductive. His violet eyes will draw you in for a kiss, and it's just beautiful. The only thing I slightly have with it is massive. It's nuclear. It has a huge bubble, so it's not one you can wear too often, but it does suit kind of autumn and that kind of thing. So that's Oud Satin Mood from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. An indie one, and that's from Bedeau Fragrances, and this is called Hubu. This is one I, again, have spoken about quite a lot on my Instagram. It's beautiful. It's like it's kind of a spicy ambery fragrance, let's call it. It's kind of opens with a dark orange, an ambery orangeness, you know, like amber from an orange tree, if you like. It's got a little bit of sweetness in that. It's also got I can't remember if it's anise, maybe anise, which kind of, you know, adds to that rich orangeness. And then there's patchouli and vetiver, I think, in it, and trying to remember what the floral is in it. I can't. Maybe orange blossom and tarragon, possibly, which give it this kind of anisey dark, you know, like a leaf that's falling from a tree, like a dark orange leaf, and how you'd imagine it to smell if it was sweet. And it's kind of a cosy, snuggle one. And obviously Hubu is French for owl, I believe, but it's one that you'd imagine, you know, sitting inside the middle of a forest and just listening to the sounds and watching the golden leaves, and still the smell of the more autumnal spices and the last of the fruits, these dark oranges. So that's Hubu from Bedeau. Finally, in this little autumnal video is a very famous one again. I'll just get into it. Lolita Lempica, the EDP, and as we all know, this is little bits of kind of is it cherry running through it, giving it that sweetness, but it's licorice, it's dark violet, it's kind of anise, darker woods, a lovely soft powdery musk. It's almost moving into that kind of darker period of autumn. Yeah, so it's moving into that kind of traditional Halloweeny part. But this is the fun kind of dress up Halloweeny. This is the kind of teenage son of Dracula, isn't it? You know, a bit I want to wear something kind of dark and sweet and lovely, but not too dark and sweet and lovely. It has to have you know, a bit of a kind of modern, kind of millennial Gen Z touch to it. Yeah, anyway, I'll stop doing that. It's that. This is your kind of going for a Halloween party kind of thing. It's seductive. It would wear someone in that kind of an outfit. It's very easy going. As it dries down and the darker, richer purple and licorice fade, It's a little bit of this kind of powdery, musky violet enjoyableness with a kind of still them fruity musks and fruity powders in there. It's just very, very damn good. That's Lolita Lempica EDP. So yeah, that's my kind of generic, short, hopefully very brief autumnal transition fragrances. Hopefully not ones I've mentioned loads and loads of times, or it gets boring. Hopefully to the point and stuff. What are you looking forward to wearing this autumn anyway? Do you have them kind of transitional ones? Do you have more kind of defined seasons where you're from, where you can sort of say I'll start wearing the deeper, richer ones now? Alright folks, thanks for watching. Bye.